Welcome to Rob at the Movies. This is part 2 of the Wendy theory. If you haven't watched the Wendy theory, please watch it first, otherwise this will make no sense. And of course, there will be spoilers of what the Wendy theory is actually about. Just a reminder that this is only a theory and of course for entertainment purposes. Instead of doing a scene-by-scene video, I've decided to just go over some of the scenes that were not added to the main video due to time constraints and other factors that will be explained along the way. So let's get to these scenes, which are in no particular order. First scene, the pool table. As we know, when Danny is riding his tricycle, this is a Wendy hallucination. This is another piece of evidence for that argument. If we go back to the walkthrough on closing day, the group passes the pool table. Take a look at which end is facing the group.
God, this place is fantastic, isn't it, hon?
Sure is.
It's the end with the ball return opening. But when Danny is riding by, we are now seeing the end with the cue ball return. Why? Because Wendy doesn't remember which way the table was oriented for her hallucination. Next scene, the maze map. During the walk through, the group passes in front of the maze. As you see, the maze map is at the end of the maze.
The hedge is about as old as the hotel itself. It's a lot of fun, but I wouldn't want to go in there unless I had an hour to spare to find my way out.
When Wendy imagines herself and Danny run to the maze, the map has been replaced by a bench at the end of the maze and is now moved to the front entrance of the maze. Next scene, Ullman's briefcase. This clue is very subtle and could be easily dismissed as office decorations that are easily moved around, definitely more easily moved than a pool table. This is one reason it was not included in the primary video. With that said, when looked at side by side, it does fit within the theory. Here we see Ullman talk with Jack during the interview. Behind him, we see his open briefcase. On the left is a tall decoration, and on the right are a stack of books. When we see Wendy in that office to use the radio, we see the space that the briefcase left. When Jack is seen in the radio room, the space is now smaller, which signifies a change due to Wendy misremembering details in her hallucinations. As I said, a small clue. Next scene, the piano papers. The Colorado room is used a lot by Wendy. This is where Jack is actually doing his writing, but there are times we are seeing what Wendy believes is what is going on in there. During the walkthrough, we pass the piano. On top of the piano, there is a stack of papers. Could be magazines, newspapers, or sheet music. These papers disappear during one of Jack's typing scenes, giving credence to Wendy seeing Jack as typing away. In another scene, they are split in 2 stacks. The piano paper clue was left out due to the fact that these papers could easily be moved by either Jack or Wendy, which is why it wasn't included in the main video, but I thought I would include it here so that you could decide if it was a worthy Wendy theory clue or not. Next scene, the gold room door lock. As the group walks into the gold room, you'll notice the brass locks on the door, here. When Wendy is imagining Jack walking into the gold room, we see that there is no brass door lock. Finally, that darn typewriter. Why wasn't the change of typewriter in the first video if it was such an obvious change? Let's discuss it, shall we? We first see Jack's typewriter here. It is small and light gray in color. In every scene forward, that includes the typewriter. It is now huge and is dark gray, almost black. The typewriter change would seem like a no-brainer for a Wendy theory clue, but something kept nagging at me. And it's here. As Jack walks to Ullman's office, he passes through his secretary's office and you hear typing. He turns and looks towards what we are made to believe is whoever is typing.
Mr. Ullman?
Yes?
I'm Jack Torrance.
This is as close to seeing another typewriter as we get in the film. But knowing that he knows there is another typewriter around and knowing he is strolling the hotel here, it's not a stretch to say that it is possible that Jack liked the secretary's typewriter better. It does seem to be a better model. Maybe Jack decided to borrow that typewriter. A model that he couldn't afford for himself, but him being a writer feels that his writing would improve with this model. With this being more of a possibility than Wendy hallucinating a different typewriter, I felt that if it didn't totally fit the theory, then I couldn't include it. So, I guess the Wendy theory stance on the typewriter change is that Jack most likely borrowed Ullman's secretary's typewriter. Of course, since we don't see it in the office, this is just a theory within a theory. And with that, thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking this video. Your support for my channel is extremely appreciated. See you for the next video.
Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, isn't it?